Welcome to the channel Physics by IITians. In this video lecture, we will discuss some very standard physics problems which are extremely important for cracking NET, GATE, TIFR, JAM, JEST like examinations. So I request you to watch this full video and understand the methods of solving. So the first question we shall discuss, that is, a solid sphere of mass m and radius a is rolling with a linear speed v on a flat surface without slipping. The magnitude of the angular momentum of the sphere with respect to a point along the path of the sphere on the surface is 2 by 5 MeV, 7 by 5 MeV, MeV, 3 by 2 MeV. So first you have to understand the questions, what the data have been provided. So the data you have, there is a sphere whose mass is m and radius is a. It is rolling without slipping and the linear speed is v. It is rolling on a flat surface. Now you have to find out the magnitude of the angular momentum of the sphere, and this is with respect to a point that is along the path of the sphere on the surface. So the angular momentum L is LCM plus R cross MV, where R cross MV becomes RMV due to the finding out the L along the path. So LCM is I into omega and R cross MV becomes R into MV. Now R here actually A, that is the radius of the sphere, and omega is V by A and I is 2 by 5 MA square. So put this value in this equations, that is 2 by 5 into MA square, omega by A becomes V by A plus RMV becomes AMV, that becomes 2 by 5 A into AMV plus AMV. After simplification or addition we get 7 by 5 MeV. So option B is the correct option, that is 7 by 5 MeV. Okay. Now come to the next question. A small loop of wire of area A equals to 0.01 meter square and N equals to 40 turns and resistance R equals to 20 ohm is initially kept in a uniform magnetic field B in such a way that the field is normal to the plane of the loop. When it is pulled out of the magnetic field, a total charge of Q, that is 2 into 10 to the power minus 5 coulomb, flows through the coil. The magnitude of the field is how much? So you have a small loop of wire. The area is 0.01 meter square. Number of turns is 40. Resistance is 20 and is initially kept in a uniform magnetic field, then in such a way that the field is normal to the plane of the loop. Now then it is certainly pulled out of the magnetic field. So there is a rate of change of flux, and that rate of change of flux will induce a total charge, induce a current, and the amount of charge that flows through the coil is 2 into 10 to the power minus 5 coulomb. So you have to find out the magnitude of the magnetic field, that is 1 into 10 to the power minus 3 Tesla, 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 Tesla, 0 or unobtainable as the data is insufficient. So the small loop of wire, the data has been written here, that is A is 0.01 meter square, N is 40 turns, R equals to 20 ohm, Q is 2 into 10 to the power minus 5 coulomb. Now I, that is current, is the rate of change of flow of electrons, or dq by dt. So induced magnetic flux in the loop, that is phi b, will be phi b equals to n into b into a, where n is the number of turns, b is the magnetic field and a is the area. Now the epsilon, that is the induced EMF, that is minus d phi by dt due to the rate of change of flux. So that becomes d dt of n into ba. So I equals to epsilon by r, that is voltage by resistance, or you can write it as minus 1 by r ddt of nba. So I is dq dt, so dq dt becomes minus 1 by r into ddt of nba. So q is minus nba divided by r. Now the magnitude, you have to find out the magnitude of the magnetic field, so we don't have to take the negative sign. So b equals to qr divided by na, that is q is given as 2 into 10 to the power minus 5 coulomb, r is 20 and n is 40 and a is 0.01, which gives the result as 1 into 10 to the power minus 3 Tesla. So what is the answer here? Let let us find the options. That is 1 into 10 to the power minus 3 Tesla, 4 into, so this option A is the correct option. So look here how to solve this kind of questions, that the data you have been given, that is Q only, you have been given Q, A, N, R. So you have to find out B in such a way that this quantities are to be utilized. So this is the final formula, that is Q equals to minus NBA by R, or B equals to QR by NA, where all these data, that is QRNA, can be put. Okay, so this is the answer. Now let's come to the next question. If Me, Mp, Mh are rest masses of electron, proton and hydrogen atom in the ground state with energy minus 13.6 electron volt respectively, which of the following is exactly true? That is Mh equals to Mp plus Me, Mh equals to Mp plus Me minus 13.6 electron volt by c square, Mh equals to Mp plus Me plus 13.6 eV by c square, Mh equals to Mp plus Me plus K, where K is not equals to plus minus 13.6 electron volt by c square or 0. So here we have to find out what is the rate, the small delta A. That is the from the Einstein mass energy relationship, we can write that E equals to mc square, or delta E equals to delta m into c square. Now delta m can be written as delta E by c square. What is the delta E here? Delta is the bound energy. That is the, suppose you have discrete charges, that is the hydrogen. For the hydrogen we need one electron, one proton. So 1p we can write it, suppose we can write it as one electron and one proton. So these are discrete, suppose these are discrete charges, there is no bound energy. But whenever in case of atom they are forming, they have certainly a bound energy, and for this hydrogen atom we have that bound energy is minus 13.6 electron volt. So this delta E becomes minus 13.6 electron volt. So delta M mass, that is minus 13.6 divided by c square into EV, c square EV. So delta M can be written as the mass of hydrogen, that is Mh, minus the discrete masses of this proton and electron, that is Mp plus Me. So Mh minus Mp minus Me becomes delta M, that is minus 13.6 divided by c square electron volt, that becomes Mh equals to Mp plus Me minus 13.6 divided by c square electron volt. So option B is the correct option. This is not minus, sorry, this is actually plus. Okay, so Mh equals to Mp plus Me plus 13.6 electron volt divided by c square. Now come to the next question, that is an observer is sitting on a horizontal platform which is rotating with a constant angular velocity. He puts an object on the smooth frictionless floor of the platform away from the axis of rotation with zero initial velocity with respect to them. Let the time at this instant be t equals to 0. In the frame of the platform, the object would remain rest for all the time, that is t equals greater than 0, accelerate purely in a radial direction outwards for all t greater than 0, accelerate purely in a tangential direction for all t greater than 0, accelerate radially in the outward direction at t equals to 0. However, the direction of acceleration changes for t greater than 0. Now, what you have to understand here, as the platform is smooth here and the object is accelerating, so it will accelerate only radially outward direction due to its centrifugal force. So the option D is the correct answer, that is the axially radially outward direction, and at t equals to 0 time, and the direction of the acceleration changes for t greater than 0, but it is always the radially outward. Which of the following, the next question is, which of the following is incorrect for the matrix M, that is 0, 1, 1, 0. So the options are, it is its own inverse, it is its own transpose, it is non-orthogonal, it has eigenvalues plus or minus 1. So you have been given a matrix, that is 0, 1, 1, 0, and you have to tell that which one of the option is incorrect. So for this you have to check the inverse of this matrix, you have to check the transpose of this matrix, you have to check the orthogonality, and you have to check the eigenvalues. So let us find one by one. So for the checking of the inverse, we have this formula, that is M inverse equals to 1 by mod f adjoint of 1 by determinant M adjoint of M. Where determinant of M is 1 and adjoint of M is 0 1 1 0. So how to find the adjoint? So suppose you are taking this first component, first the adjoint for this one, what you have to do, you have to cancel this column and this row, and you have to take this element. Then suppose you are taking the adjoint for this second element, what you have to do, you have to cancel this two, this column and this row and this column, and you are left with this element. So 0 1, and now suppose you are taking the adjoint of this one, so you have to cancel, you don't have to see this column and this row, you are left with 1. And suppose for the last element you have to take, you don't have to take this column, row and this column, so you are left with 0. So you get 0 1 1 0. Now the inverse we get as determinant is more 1, so we get M inverse equals to 0 1 1 0. And now M transpose is, you have to make the row as the column and column as the row, that is 0 1 row will be, column will become here 0 1, and this 1 0 column will become this 1 0. Actually this is the same. Okay, so after transpose, taking transpose, this also the same as the matrix, where the row becomes the column and columns becomes the row. Now to find out the eigenvalue, we have to put here in the M characteristic equation, that is M minus lambda I, data of M minus lambda equals to 0, which gives us the eigenvalue as lambda square minus 1 equals to 0, so lambda equals to plus 1 minus 1. And now let us check the orthogonality. M into M transpose, if it is I, that is the orthogonal. So M into M transpose, that is M is 0 1 1 0, M transpose is also 0 1 1 0. So we get 1 0 0 1, that is I. So M into N transpose is also I. So it is orthogonal. So let us check the options again, that it is its own inverse. So if M inverse is equals to M, yes, M inverse is 0 1 1 0 and M is also 0 1 1 0. So M inverse is M, it is its own inverse, it is its own transpose, it has eigenvalues plus minus 1, and the option C is not correct because it is orthogonal also. The next question, 2-point charges plus q and plus q1 and plus q2 are fixed with a finite distance d between them. It is desired to put a third charge q3 in between these two charges on the line joining them so that the charge q3 is in equilibrium. So this is possible only if q3 is possible, only if q3 is negative, or it is possible, or possible irrespective of the sign of q3, or not possible at all. So suppose these are the two charges q1 q2, and a third charge q3 is desired to be kept between these two charges, that is q1 at point A and q2 at point B. And suppose we are putting another charge at point C, it may be plus, it may be minus. So for the equilibrium condition, the force on the charge from A to on C, force between the charges Q1 Q3 should be the force between the charges Q2 Q3. Okay, so let us take the distance of AC as x and BC as d minus x, where d is the separation between A and C, B, and in between there is a point C. So FAC is the force between the two charges Q1 and Q3, that gives you K into Q1 Q3 divided by x square, and the force between the two charges Q2 Q3 is FBC equals to K into Q3 Q2 divided by d minus x whole square. This for equilibrium, these two forces will be equal, that is K into Q1 Q3 divided by x square equals to K into Q3 Q2 divided by d minus x whole square. So after simplifying it, we get q1 into d minus x whole square equals to q2 into x square, or d minus x whole square equals to q2 by q1 into x square, or d minus x gives you plus minus q2 divided by q1 into x. Now let us take the positive value for the distance calculation. Okay, so d minus x equals to q2 divided by q1 into x. So d can give you x into 1 plus q2 by q1, or x equals to q1d divided by q1 plus q2. Now taking the negative sign, that is d minus x equals to minus q2 divided by q1 into x. So d equals to x into q1 minus q2 divided by x1, which gives x equals to q1d divided by q1 minus q2. So this is possible irrespective of the sign. So this is the charge q3 is in equilibrium, that is possible irrespective of the sign of the charge of q3. So option C is the correct option. So friends, this is all for today. So you can also join our test series. The link will be given in the description box. So thank you.